welcome. I see that we have Ionolith here, and hi, Odin, welcome. Um, yes, this wasn't exactly the camera angle that I had set up, but whatever, it is what it is. So, welcome. I'm live, I'm here, I made it. Today we are helping out with a fashion emergency. Alterations just need to be a little smooshed and smudged just a little bit. So situation, wedding is coming up, bridesmaid dress doesn't fit as desired. Alterations were done and it's too tight and loose in all the wrong places, but I have a plan. I haven't pulled it out since I made marks and pins and stuff like that. So I don't think that we're going to get it done today, but I'm going to get it ripped open today. So that is the plan. Okay, so the dress is right here. This is the beast. Dan just joked. I'm doing smoosh adjustment to my Gundam as well. It's like the chop chop. It's not an exact science, it's more of an art. That's what it is. Okay, so nothing too crazy. Simple, reminds me of Cinderella. It is a light blue, very soft fabric, very delicate fabric, and can be very tricky to sew with. I'm glad that I looked up the reference photo. I'm glad that I looked up the reference photo before I began this because I was trying to see. There's these gathers right here at the princess seam that kind of just look like wrinkles to me when I'm looking at the screen. But there's gathers right here and right here on the princess seam. In the photo, there are no gathers. So I was going to try and make them even. I'm just going to outright eliminate them. Now, here is a word to the wise. If you ever are going to go get your dress hemmed or adjusted, do the bodice adjustments first and then hem it. It is never as simple as I'm just going to measure out 2 inches all the way around and chop off 2 inches. You think it's that simple, but we're getting into circle maths here. And when you're on a grid, if the whole skirt is just a rectangle gathered in, you'll be fine. You can take off the 2 inches all the way around the end. It's not going to affect anything. Now, as soon as you start adding curvature into your skirt, so A-lines, full circles, half circles, quarter circles, just starting to get into the circle territory, you're starting to get into biases. And not like political biases, but more like biases of our grain lines. So our grain lines are grids that go up and down. And as long as we're on the lines, we have a strong grid holding everything together. As soon as we go into the biases and the diagonals, everything changes. All the rules change. Hemming circle skirts takes me about an hour per circle for a full length circle. Now, if there's 3 layers in it, could take me up to 3 hours to hem a circle skirt. Why does it take so long? Can't I just measure 2 inches all the way around and call it done? You have to go around and depending on how bouncy, how big of a bias, how delicate your fabric is, when you pull off the weight, all of a sudden your fabric's a lot lighter. And so it changes your grid and it pulls heavier. And you can start to get, I noticed that the center fronts and center backs, if I cut them right at the measurements and those would pull up where the biases would stretch out. So it would make arcs on the hemline. And that's why you usually should hang up a circle skirt before you hem it, because just let all the wonkiness settle and then just trim it off is the ideal way to go. So this dress was already hemmed and I have no wiggle room. There is no wiggle room. So the biggest issue of fitting that I found with this dress was that the waistline was in the wrong spot. I often talk about shoulder joints being very tricky and other joints being very tricky to clothe, armor, and work around in general. Your waist is no different. It's a joint. It's a joint that has to move and is flexible and wiggles around. And in general, if you wear something fitted, your hips will push everything up. Your rib cage will push everything down, and it'll kind of meet up in this one spot, and that is where your natural waist is. It's not like 2 inches above the belly button. It's not at the belly button. It's not just below the belly button. It is wherever your skinny spot is, and it's not necessarily your skinny spot. It is the spot where all your fabric likes to meet up. Some people have long waists, some people have short waists, but everybody has hip bones and rib cages, and in between there is the joint of where everything meets up. Now, in waistband placement, that's why some dresses are more flattering on figures than other dresses, blah, blah, blah. You don't even need to have a defined waistline or umpire or whatever. It's just, if you want things to lay right, know how your body moves. This dress has boning in it, so these boning want to push up against that waist and not lay in the right position. So I cannot raise this to where it needs to be to lay nicely because I do not have it on the hem. It'll be 2 inches short if I raise this up to where the natural waistline is. So I have a game plan. Since there was a lot of fabric that was removed when it was hemmed, and that fabric still exists, again, still has the problem of the biases that we will have to work with. I am going to use a belt to raise up the waistline. So I'm going to put a belt at the waistband and secure it in place to raise it up so that it sits right where the natural waist is, so that it hits in the most flattering position. And belts are great because you can just tie them and hide all the unforgivable wrinkles, gathers. Waistbands are like just the worst, but belts are great. So yeah, that's my game plan. I plan on changing the waistband by adding a thick belt. I am going to rip it off. There's some tucks and stuff in the waistband, so I'm not really worried about trying to keep it nice because I want to rip it off first. I'm going to smooth this part out. So I'm going to rip out the princess seams and just smooth them out. I'm only doing it on the exterior fabric. The interior is fine. There's no wrinkles. It's sewn down, the boning's attached, and it's not attached to the outside fabric. So I'm planning on ripping out the waistband and smoothing out these seams. Now, these little shoulder pieces that hang just off the shoulders, they were hanging like this, not actually on the shoulder. They are completely lined in non-slip stretch elastic that is not even stretched out. There's no stretch to this. Originally, I was just going to shorten the strap about 1.5 inches. That's what I have marked. But since I realized that there is absolutely no stretch to this elastic that is lining the entirety of the top. I'm going to cut it off here at the sleeve, take out my negative ease. I'm probably going to take 2 inches of negative ease off of the elastic. So I'm going to cut the elastic 2 inches shorter than what it should be, pin it back in place, and then just hand stitch it so that it gently gathers up and it holds onto the shoulders with a bit of a stretch. So instead of taking in the fabric, I'm just going to bring in the elastic. So it holds and it's just a little bit closer, but it's not going to be super wrinkly or gathery. That's the plan for that. And that's my game plan. Once I open this up and see what's inside, we may change, but I have a seam ripper. Okay. I'm going to start by turning this inside out. So the lining and the waistband look like they're attached together. So they are treated as one piece and they are sewn together. Let me orient myself. Okay. My front is this side. Grab pins, and I see there's notches. I love looking and seeing factory notches because you know that you're on, especially when they line up, you know you're on the right path. Okay, let me see what people have been saying. Okay, so I'm talking about Minecraft. Dan Does Junk says, at behind the scenes fashion, is that just a bot dress meant to fit whatever size? This is a ordered off the internet bridesmaid dress. Yes, bridesmaid dresses, people come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and expecting them to fit the same dress all the same is just completely not going to happen. But this dress was already altered, but it wasn't altered in a way that worked. So I'm just kind of further altering it. But this was a purchased bridesmaid dress. So everybody in the bridal party has the same dress. Ooh, and it has pockets. 1 pocket, 2 pockets. Between the pockets, this is my center front. Okay, that's what that notch is. So, 2 rip out seams. I'm just kind of seeing what's going on here. I have lining from the skirt. I have the actual fabric and the lining from the bodice. So there are a lot of layers in here. And I'm just going to rip from pocket to pocket. I don't want to rip where the pocket's sewn over, so I'm just going to leave that intact. And I typically do it on the other side because often you might just happen to get a fat thread that just pulls right out. And if it's already broken and where you want it to stop, then that's the ideal situation. It doesn't always happen that way. But sometimes you can get lucky. So now this is the part where I do not mind ripping out other people's work. It's kind of relaxing, kind of soothing, you know? It's a lot harder to rip out your own work because, you know, all the time you spent sewing that in and fighting it for it to not work, and you have to rip it out and do it again. It starts to add up in your mind, and it's more of a mental struggle than anything else. But After you get it a certain way, you can just start popping the seam. I want actually that to stay there. I like keeping my orientation where I'm at in a circle, where my front is, backs and sides. So, yes. I wanted to pull out some of my old bridesmaid dresses and just talk bridesmaid dresses today, but I realized I don't own a single one of my bridesmaid dresses. Like, I didn't keep one of them. I have my old prom dresses. I have all these other obscure dresses, but I have not kept a single bridesmaid dress. And I think it's funny because it's always like the hopes of, you get to wear it again. It's so pretty, you know, or get it shortened and you can wear it again. Or I don't know. I spent more on other people's bridesmaid dresses. Well, getting bridesmaid dresses for other people's wedding than I did on my actual wedding dress. But my wedding dress was some lady's third wedding in the 1950s, 3rd out of 5 weddings. Her daughter was selling that dress at the costume shop, and I absolutely loved the cotton lace. It was weird. I hadn't seen anything like it, and so I bought it for less than $50. And then I remade it, and I loved it. But yeah, I do not have a single bridesmaid dress left in my closet. You know, behind the scenes fashions, were they really ugly? Nope. Can't even complain that they were ugly. One was a nice little purple one, like purple taffeta. But where are you really going to wear a purple taffeta gown? Like, not to anyone else's wedding, looking like the wrong bridesmaid. Not going to prom, wouldn't wear it if I was going to prom. You know, a little too fancy. The lavender one, I donated that one to the costume shop because it reminded me of like when the middle schoolers were doing their medieval banquet. That one I could accessorize because it had the right umpire look anyways, and it was lavender, and middle schoolers love lavender. The orange one I rented originally from the costume shop, and it was the vintage 1960s ones. That one I totally would have kept. Yeah, but they're just, when would I ever wear those again? And I wear lots of weird things. But bridesmaids is like being a part of a set. Wasn't me. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I can't say that any of the dresses that I had were really ugly. But I also do take bridesmaid dresses as a fashion challenge. Oh, I see. I can fix this. This is no big deal. I got this. Whew. Thought it was going to be something really hard. But let me see what I got, because I still have pins in here. You see my pins? There we go. Okay. I am going to go a few inches above and a few inches below the wrinkles. I need my iron. It's right there. Once it rips out, I rip it out. I'm going to go grab my iron. I'll let it be the Bruno show for 2 minutes while I grab that. But I need an iron to smoosh this. Eonolith, are the critters there? Yes, Toby is quite literally at my feet. He's the one who knocked over the light on my table so that it doesn't light up. Oh, look at Bluetooth mode. Now I have my fancy light. And Bruno is right there staring at me. Spooky's on the other side of the door meowing because he didn't come in time and got locked out, and he does not like being locked out. right. See something. I'm just trying to see where, because it was kind of taken in here. All right, let me just do it. Nice little scissors. I have little scissors. I'm gonna use those. Okay. Oh, there's 2 rows of stitching right next to each other. Which one's which? The drama. No, it doesn't matter. I'll just rip them both out. Because I think it was adjusted right where I'm ripping it out. I know, so exciting. Ripping little teeny tiny strings. But I have to be really careful about that. I don't want to make any holes or actually rip things that I can't unrip. All right. There we go. Okay. Now that seam, I'm going to press it because it just needs some ironing and get re-smooshed together. Although, I think I'm going to rip it about 1 inch more so that it has a little more space to sprawl out. Okay. And okay, this line I can just completely rip out. This fabric is so snaggy. It knows that I'm like live and anxious, so it's like getting caught. And now let me get it this side. So sometimes I switch when I'm ripping out from one side to the other because I don't want to get all the tension tight in one spot. So I'm bouncing between ripping out this side and that side so that I'm kind of wiggling the thread out without getting myself caught. I know that's really weird sounding now that I said it out loud, but when you rip out thread, it's like tightening knots sometimes if you just pull too hard and get it all stuck in one spot. But if you break the end so you're not getting all stuck into one position, it can pull free. So, welcome, Austin Lips. Today I am just doing a bridesmaid dress adjustment. This dress needs to not have these wrinkles in the bust line. As pretty as they are, they either need to be even or gone. And I'm going to be making a belt out of the leftover hem of this dress to help keep the waistline and everything where it needs to be. So that's the game plan. We are doing alterations today to make this dress work. But yes, and I'm trying to do that while I talk. It's not the easiest. I'm at least going to get this all ripped apart. That's the goal. Okay. Got that ripped out so I can rip out this part. Jeez. It's okay, I'm only live. Yeah, but I didn't want to. You can really easily get tangled up pulling out threads. It's not my favorite. But like I said, I don't mind ripping out other people's work. I haven't been emotionally invested in it yet. Oh, thank you, Odin. I'm glad to know that you all are just judging me. It's good to know. Okay. Hey, Bruno, come here, babies. Bruno, come here. I need to go get the iron, so it's your turn to keep everyone entertained. Alright. I have both sides ripped out. These gathers have, see those wrinkles? That's where they was all gathered. It is now relaxed. I am so sorry. 2 seconds. I must grab. Hi, Spooky. Hello. There's my ironing board. My ironing basket. Okay. I need some of this stuff. This first needs to get powdered. I should have thought of this before I started, but in my usual fashion, it is what it is. So, okay. Now, this is a ham. It's not a real ham, but it looks like a lunch meat ham. So, this is wool stuffed with wool so that it's pretty solid. And I'm going to iron on top of it because it's a good curved surface. Oh, forgot that he was even there. Okay. Still has the tags attached. Those can go back to where they were. Think I'm gonna iron it flat first. Smoosh it in place and then press it after I've sewn it with the ham. That's the game plan. This is a synthetic satiny material. Before I just go squishing it with an iron, I am going to take an inconspicuous extra piece and do a test iron and see if it melts my fabric. You know, because there has been way too many times than I care to admit that I have just gone and melted things. Yeah. This is still set pretty cool from when I was ironing the knits, so we should be good. It didn't do anything weird or crazy. Okay. Oh, look, it is just pressing right out. Oh, so much better. You can see what the stitching line was because there's still little threads in there. Pick those out. Okay. I thought I had a small thing of spray, pressing spray, but was Toby barking? I didn't even notice. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna get some pressing spray. It'll make it nicer. It will. And it's all about making it nice at this moment. So usually I am not about pressing spray. I talk a lot of crap about ironing spray and get real starch and not ironing spray. But if you look at how starchy this one is, this is on the not starchy side. It is just not, it's fancy wrinkle releaser. So if I have stubborn wrinkles that I don't want to use water per se because it may leave a watermark, and I don't want to use more heat. More air. Yanela says, it's the reason why I make sure I have everything out close when I start working on something. Ha ha ha. The thing is I love escaping from my projects. I love to go run and get us a cup of coffee or a piece of tape or something that I need that's all the way over there because I have to walk away, and it gives my brain a mental, that's why it was wrinkled. Okay, I see what's going on. Making sense, making sense. But yes. Hi, Toby, welcome back. Candace Jenk says, I'm the opposite. I hate having to leave to get something, especially if I have to a few times. I get that. Like, works both ways. Sometimes it's I need a break. Sometimes it is I was on a roll and I don't like having to stop my roll. I see what's happening and I'm not in love with it. Okay. Well, yeah. One thing I 100% learned, my sewing is affected by my mood. If I am cranky, you can see it in my sewing, and it's so much harder to keep going because I will keep making stupid mistakes. And yes, I 100% Cannot sew when I'm in a funky mood. I have to walk away and I have to calm down and then come back at it. But when you are paid to be creative, you don't always get the luxury of taking all the time you want and walking around and sleeping on all your problems. So sometimes I just need to get up and walk over and grab something that's over there. I need to step up and walk away, come back. Okay. Austin Lips, to answer your question about my dogs, about constantly barking, yes, they keep tabs on who is outside the living room window. I will know every sketchy plastic bag that goes by. Question, where does the fullness want to go? It's only a little off, but okay, so my seams aren't lining up just perfectly easy. I'm kind of working one into the other because, again, it's the grid system. There are parts of the grid that are stable, and there are parts of the grid that just completely get pulled, and it pulls other parts of the grid. So you just have to gently smoosh and smoosh and smoosh, and it will all just kind of... I always feel much better when things line up. Like, it just like, it was meant to be. I got it. I figured it out. There we go. There we go. Dan Does Junk says, I love my pegboard setup I have behind me in my shed. It's nice to have everything I use within reach. I was thinking about getting a pegboard because I do like it, but the problem is I'm mobile. Like, a lot of the things that I've had to do have been like on set, so I have to bring everything with me. So I have a lot of kits. I have so I keep things kind of together in kits so that I can easily craft. So, and I often would craft on my own living room table or what floor or wherever the action in the house is, because I don't want to be off alone in my own room. You can hear the dogs. They are definitely barking at something out the door. All right, I need to iron this side because this one's still wrinkly. But that lined up much nicer, and I can put that through the sewing machine without having any puckers. Yay! Let me do this side now. They're just little teeny tiny tucks. Happens so easily with the satiny fabric. I just stabbed myself. Yeah. Oh, good. Steam is your friend. If you get a dress or any costume or anything off Amazon and it comes in the package and it has all those lines and stuff in it, steam it, put it in the dryer with a wet towel, get out all the wrinkles in the very least. That's really kind of the secret. Often on commercials, we buy a lot of clothes from the store, and then you steam all the wrinkles out of them. And that's when they look professional. Bruno, Toby, I am tired of the barking. There we go. Okay. When I am trying to meet up a seam, especially a curved seam, so like an armhole or such, and I'm going to have to ease it in, I bounce between the sides and work my way towards the center so that the fullness gets dispersed evenly, as opposed to working on one side towards the other and pushing all my fullness one way or pushing all my fullness the other way. If I'm working back and forth, I'm evening out my fullness. And yeah. Okay. Line this up. Hi, Toby. How you doing? What y'all bark at? What's the interesting thing going on, huh? Oh, hi. You guys can't see Toby, but he's right here. He came to say hi. But I can't super pet you because I don't want to smell like your butt. Mm-hmm. The smoosh and the smoosh and the smoosh. This one had less wrinkles than the other side, but is not lining up as nicely. The other side lined up way nicer. Ouch. Oh, that one's more than that. Okay. Okay. Dando's Junk says, drill a bunch of holes in your wall. Instant pegboard, Eonolith. Eonolith says, Dando's Junk, I'll get pegboards eventually, but I want a system that I can put my Plat Effects paints up on the pegboard. So you want shelves. You want narrow shelves. So a spice rack. I feel like paints can fit on spice racks. My mom had them in clear drawers. I like clear bins and drawers to work out of because I can see what's my mess without having to make it bigger. There we go. Now everything's just kind of falling in place. I think I got it. Yes. That's where I have my marker pen. Okay. Satin can be really tricky to sew with because you have two very smooth cervix. They don't want to stay together. They really don't. So I used a ton of pins. Tons and tons of pins. Yes. Oh, Yana says the Plat paints are 3 ounces and most systems only hold 2-ounce containers. I know exactly what you're talking about because they have like the baby food paint can size. Anyways, yes. I get that. Custom shelves. Still plugged in and hot. Can go over here. We're going to use this ham in just a moment. Didn't end up needing the clapper. Okay. Anyways, the ironing board is now out of the way. Still have. Okay. So I may have ended up having too many plugs in my plug over there. I think I might have to plug in over here. Sorry. Give me 2 seconds to plug this in. Will it reach? Will it reach? Nope, it will not. Hello. Try over here. Okay. It's alive! But it's not threaded. And there's red thread in the bobbin. Have I said I was unprepared for this? Yeah. All right, I have thread there, I have thread there, I have thread. I'm gonna go for that thread. Uh-oh. Spaghetti. Oh, Yana Liz. I should be prepared. I should be. But this is only live, right? Okay. Okay. Bruno, how are you doing? Want to come say hi? Hi, Bruno. You gonna sew with me for a second? Okay. Just double check my stitch length and such with a piece of scrap. Hi, Bruno. You ready to drive? Ready, Bruno? All right, go. Bruno, you are my dress. Okay. I'm all tangled up. What am I tangled up in? All right. So I don't want to go with the original seam allowance because, not the original, the default stitch length, because it's a little too tight. Oh, that would make sense. It's got knocked. The tension's at a neutral tension. The stitch length, I've slightly lengthened it. It's not a basting stitch though. Don't want it too long. I just want it not to be all stupid gathery. Now, this side is gathering into this side, so I'm going to put this side down onto the feed dog so that they can help it kind of ease into there. This is right up in the armpit. I genuinely want a knee knocker for my sewing machine. I love everything about the sewing machine, but the one thing I want is a knee knocker because I have those up. I had those at work, and I just have that reflex of knocking it with my knee, and it's so much easier to not have to let go of your project to get sewing. Super nice. Let me sew the other side before I start looking at the inside. All right. I'm going to flip this one over because, again, the gathery fabric on the bottom, because the feed dogs are your friends when you're trying to smoosh things into things. Okay. Okay. Let me turn this side out. Oh my goodness, it lines up so nicely. Okay. Now I just need to press it. And this. All right, so this is not quite dry from the pressing spray yet, and I am definitely going to steam it once it is fully dry. But I want to press these seams as nicely as I can. There's a bone in there, which I'm trying to not have it affect my ironing, but it is 100% on the seam that I'm ironing. I suppose I could bust out the anvil, but I like the curved surface of this better. An ironing anvil, which is this crazy contraption that I have to screw together, but I store it flat, is an ironing anvil, and you can do iron press just the seams on it, because sometimes you don't want to press the whole entire garment, and I really just want to press the seams, but because it's such a curved princess seam, I'm going to stick with the ham. But if I was pressing all these seams, I would totally pull out my iron, my anvil. I have this ripped apart very funnily right now. Only the front half is exposed. And getting into that's a little weird. We have a lining still attached, so I'm trying to get in there without messing with the lining too much. Hi, Toby. How you doing? You look like you're comfy. I want my seams to all lay the same way, and it was feeling like they were getting pressed open at the centers, but to opposite sides at the top and the bottom. So I just want to make sure that they are pressed to the same side, top and bottom, inside and outside. And I am using a cooler iron, so this isn't going super fast. almost there. Let me press. So I'm really trying to take my time on pressing these seams. They're the center front princess seams, and they're doing a lot of what they're doing a lot of work. They are the style lines of this dress, and they are going to draw your eye in. So them being all wrinkly, you'll notice. Them being nice and straight and pressed, you won't notice. When things go right, people don't tend to notice why, but they can usually see what's wrong, even if they don't know if that's what's wrong. All pressed this way. All right. Let me switch over to the other side. And I want to press it out that way. Austin Lip, how's your night going today? I would say it's going very nice. It is definitely the end of the day, ready for bed, but I wanted to get this just done real quick. At least started so that my brain could think about it, because I had an original plan of how I wanted to do the shoulders, and then I switched my mind. Hi, Toby. How are you doing? What's going on? Interesting. Oh. It is getting late right now. It's 11:19 or 11:09. 11:19 because it's 10:20 in Ohio. Well, welcome from Ohio. It is almost bedtime. I'm not going to stay up super late doing this. I am going to get this part done. Probably rip out the shoulder seams and then see where we're at. Much better. There's no actual gathers in those princess seams. Yay. Make sure my seam allowance is all pressed to the correct side. I hate putting my iron on the right side of the fabric. It makes me nervous, like it's gonna mess it up, but I know this is a cool iron. My fingers can go right in here. Oh, good. Oh, nice. The little tuck that I was worried about got ripped out, so I don't have to rip more of the waistband out. I just have to gently reattach it when I reattach it to not add more tucks. All right, so my game plan of the other alteration that I have to do is I have to shorten these straps. So I have it marked that it needs to get shortened. This much from here to here, which is, I did absolutely no measurements. I just did pin marks because pin marks are more accurate than numbers. We are at 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches negative E. Sorry, Bruno, didn't mean to whack you there. So this is one continuous piece from this zipper all the way around to the other zipper, and I am going to cut it just at the shoulder seams. I think I'm going to start it. Oh no, I see that. Is this right where? There is a piece of boning sticking out right here. That will be painful. There we go. Okay. Yanalith, good guessing. You get 1 brownie point. It's not a cookie, but it's close. So there's a trick to sewing this non-slip elastic in a sewing machine, but because I don't want it to see my stitches on the outside, I am going to be hand stitching this. I may not do it live because that's probably very boring, but I am going to rip it out. Part of me wanted to thread elastic through, but the fact that this is non-slip elastic, I just need to sew it. I really do. Hand stitching will be done. Brownie points are better. I'll take it. That's nice. I can eyeball the imperial system or whatever system we use here, inches, feet, kind of a thing, really well. But I am terrible at eyeballing centimeters. I really am. My brain just, the numbers are too big. It's like, no, that's, but units. All right. Gotta just Bruno. Ugh. Hey, Bruno. I wasn't being able to feel my leg. Okay. It probably would be easier to literally just shorten this. I wouldn't do it 2.5 inches because I'd still want it to be able to move. I'd probably shorten it about 2 inches, leaving that 1/2 inch of wiggle room. But I'll definitely take it out on the elastic. I don't like clothes that I can't lift my arms. I really like the ability to lift my arms. When you start doing sleeves and stuff, it really affects your ability to lift and rotate your arms. Waists are a tricky joint, but definitely shoulders and elbows are a tricky joint because I like using my arms and shoulders. And it's a luxury not to be able to, especially in the fashion world. But having a little bit of elastic bounce on an off-the-shoulder dress definitely makes the wearing experience significantly more comfortable. I have this really, really cute sunflower top that I got for my birthday that I absolutely love, but have not worn because it's too tight around my shoulders. It just, I can't function. I wear it for 5 minutes and I can't handle it, and I have sensory, it just doesn't work. I can't do it. And so in my head, I'm like, I'm not doing that to someone else where it's too tight for them to, but it was super flapping. So it just needs to be, just needs to have a little bit of a hold. Yeah. Austin Love says, sewing takes skills. My mom used to sew by hand. My mom's hand stiffens and can't do it. I completely understand. There is a lot of repetitive tasks in sewing. I get bruises on my hands from cutting out fabric, like right here. Like I can feel it, like at the top of my thumb. It is not the easiest, and if you can't see what you're doing, it makes things difficult. So sewing at night sometimes isn't feasible. Like, yeah. Yana says, not for me. I like sleeveless so much more. I don't mind a stretchy sleeve. I like stretchy long sleeves because I like all sorts of things, but yeah, I just don't like it when I can't move. I had this one really cute green vintage dress. It had 3/4 length sleeves, and my range of motion was here. So I was pretty mobile for like a vintage dress because it had a high armpit, so I at least could get my arms to here, but I couldn't reach the zipper in the back. And one day I got home and nobody was home, and I just like panicked because I realized that there was no way I was going to get out of that dress on my own. And I did not want to rip the dress, but if anybody's had that panic induced feelings of being in the dressing room and trapped in a garment, that is the worst. And I was starting to get a little panicked going, I don't want to ruin this dress, but I couldn't figure out how to get out of it safely. Like I genuinely could not reach where I needed to reach without breaking things. So I ended up driving over to my friend Brianne's house, and I was like, hey, Brianne, I'm coming over. She ran outside, unzipped me halfway, jumped back in my car, and I went home. That's what friends are for. When you're trapped. Yes. Okay. All right, yay, it's ripped. I'm not cutting it yet because I want to rip out this side first. Ionolith, it's not a shoulder flexibility issue, it's the fabric flexibility issue. Iana says, you should see me. Even with my messed up shoulder, I can put my hands all the way to my back. Yeah, no, it's not the not being able to reach my back. It's the certain garments when they're non-stretch fabrics, woven fabrics, you have the puff sleeves gives you more motion. If you don't have a puff sleeve and you have a solid straight sleeve, any drop in that armhole is going to make it so you can't lift your arm up. So a armhole that is right up in your armpit is going to give you the most mobility, but you're still only like, it's a limited range of motion if there's no puff in your sleeve. So like, I've experienced it a lot more in vintage garments than modern garments because we have lots of stretch fabrics and seen that issue enough that it doesn't come up anymore. No, it does come up, but it's a problem we forget about. Yeah, a lot of old clothing. Mobility schmobility. Who needs to run and jump and move and reach up to touch the sky? I don't know. But it's pretty. Yeah, I definitely love knits. I know people hate working with knits. It's my favorite. I really like working with knits. Yeah. Coached gymnastics for 15 years. So like my favorite thing to run around in is just stretchy fabrics, sportswear. Like, I love the gymnastics Leos with the long sleeves. They're fun and they're pretty. And it always annoyed me that wedding dresses couldn't have like long sleeves, but leotards could. And then I got to work for a company where we made long sleeve dresses that were stretchy and pretty and comfy. This one's super stuck in this one little spot, and I don't want to shred the fabric. Right in this spot, it just got the edge of the elastic right at the scallop, so it's like shredding. Don't want to shred the lace. I'm just gonna go to the side. Hi, Spooky. How you doing? Oh, look at you. Look like my computer screen. The void that is Spooky. Hi, Spooky. No, Spooky. I thought he was gonna knock over my lemonade there. I'm glad he didn't. Okay. Oh, this stuff is a pain in the butt to rip out. Bruno, why are you crying? Huh? Oh, I think he wants to go hang out with Spooky. We're getting there, making some progress. It's stretchy stuff. Okay. So how are you guys doing? What have you guys been up to? Working on any fun projects? This is my mark. I have quite a few projects currently on my brain. I have 2 gigs coming up that I have to start thinking about soon, but not fully have to brain on those yet. So I have the mental capacity to work on a few other projects. So. Oh, Austin List says Spooky would blind in the dark and scare you, Spooky the cat. Oh my gosh, this cat knows that he blends in with the shadows, and he goes and finds shadows to go sit on or be in and stare at you. And then his favorite thing to do is sit at the window with the dogs looking out the front yard, you know, and then go run out front, have the dogs start barking at him, and then run back over to go with the dogs and sit next to them going, who are we barking at? Who are we barking at? Huh? Huh? And the dogs are like, we're barking at Spooky. Don't you see him over there? Don't you see him? And Spooky's just like, yeah, I see him. And he'll just go back and forth. It's funny because it happens way too often where it's like, is that, you know, where's Spooky? Where's Spooky? And he's just like right here going, what are you guys looking for? Yeah. I like that cat. He's a good cat. He's a crazy cat. Bruno likes him. Austin Lip says, I meant blend in with the dark. I know. He just blends in with the shadows. He's a spooky shadow ninja. What is going on here? Ugh. Just want to rip it. Yeah, Alyssa's not really been tired the past few weeks. No project started. That's okay. This is not going to let me just rip it out. It's saying I have to rip each individual thread out one at a time. That part is just a really off. So there's this one little spot that I'm ripping out that I was working this way towards, and it was just getting really tight, and I was starting to shred the elastic. So I went from the other side to attack it, and it met up in this it is a tight little spot with all the threads in teeny tiny, really close togetherness. So it's like where the sewing machine got stuck on the non-slip when they were sewing it in, and means it's a little extra hard to rip out, but you have to be gingerly do it because you don't want to rip not the threads. And it's just barely attached to the elastic by threads. And it's done. Phew. Okay. So take all these extra fluffs. All right. I'm going to cut this right at the shoulder seam. On both sides. Now, I don't necessarily have to cut this, because if I cut it, then I won't have it, and if I screwed it up and it was way too tight, it'll be a pain in the butt to loosen. It's not the end of the world. But I can just overlap it an 1.25 inches where I'm supposed to sew it on. And then it'll shorten it the 1.5 inches that I need, and I can wiggle it around if I need to make it looser or tighter. So 1.25 inches perfectly. Really good at eyeballing things. Okay, so I'm going to anchor it on both sides. And careful, you do not want to make yourself a Mobius loop, so just follow the edge, right side up, and then go over 1.5 inches. Let me double check if I have it. 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches. Austin Lip says, I sing to old music, not that good, but still sing every day for hours. Practice pays off. Been singing since 2017. I'm a little bit better. Nice. I can appreciate that. I like to dance. It makes me happy. Nobody needs to see it, but it's definitely appreciate the music. Not quite singing, but okay. So what am I doing now? Sorry, let me explain what's going on. I cut out the non-slip elastic out of just my shoulder straps. They're off the shoulder straps that were way, way, way too loose. They did not even do anything. So I'm shortening them 2.5 inches. So I cut it at the shoulder seam and overlapped it 1.25 inches on either side. So this elastic is 1.25 inches shorter than my off the shoulder strap. Now I'm going to fold it so that the strap meets up at the side seams. Yeah, at the seams. And I'm going to find my center of my elastic and the center of my sleeve. And I'm going to make those two pieces match up and put a pin right there. I'm using a different color pin, so I know that that is my center. Why is that pin there? Oh, that's the pin of how short I needed to initially make it. And then I'm just going to go around meeting my side seam up with my center seam, and then find the centers of those, both the elastic and the sleeve. Line them up together That doesn't feel even. Is it even? No. Actually, no. Okay. I'm just finding little halves, little halves, little halves. And eventually this 1.25 inches on either side, well, 2.5 inches, will just be slowly gathered into the sit. Bye, Annalyn. Thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here. Go get some sleep. It's actually getting pretty late, so after I get these pinned in, I probably am going to call it a night. I'll hand stitch these later. I'm not really in a hand stitching mood at the moment. Okay. This is why I like magnetic ones. It just works better for me. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to pin this in place and I'm going to think about it because that might be a little too much of a gather, but I know that's significantly more comfortable. I'm going to think about this one. I'm definitely going to finish pinning it. Where's my other piece of elastic? Julius, those were pins. Oh, here it is. Yes. All right, 1.25 inches. 1.25 inches. Pin this in place. Okay. Oh, geez, the time is definitely flying. I sometimes feel like I can get a lot done in a little bit of time, and sometimes I feel like I get nothing done. but no, don't be twisted. Good, it's not. All right, so now I'm finding my centers. So hi, Spooky. How you doing? Austin Lip says, I got a 300-pound force magnet and 2 red toy ones coming tomorrow. Lucky! I'm always afraid like I'm going to do some damage with them, you know, to electronics and stuff. But I genuinely like magnets. I like my magnetic pin cushion way better than this because this thing, it stabs through, so it stabs up my wrist wearing it. So I don't wear it. And then I can stick my magnetic pin cushion to my table at any angle. It's really nice and convenient, especially when I'm working on my dress form pinning things. And my dress forms are giant pin cushions too. Look at, she got a new arm. Okay. Just gotta find the center, find the center, find the center. Find the centers. Hiding this from me. It's a fishing magnet. What if you got like stuck to something like a giant tank underground? Could you get your magnet back, or would it just be stuck? Or would you have to like pull it like at the right angle for sheer force? I don't know. Ouch. Okay. It is 10:55. It's almost 11. I think this is where I'm going to stop today. I fixed all those funny little gathers that were in the bust of this dress. They are gone. Never more to be seen. There's no more tucks in this waistband. Right here was where there was a big old tuck that I was worried about, and it is gone. So yay! I am definitely going to take this through the steamer to just get rid of all of these wrinkles. I have to hand stitch this to the sleeves. And then next time I will be making a belt. Yes. So today is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I probably will go live tomorrow to finish this because I don't think I'm going to do it on Saturday, but I believe I'm going to do it tomorrow, Friday. Finish the belt and finish this up. But for today, this is where I'm going to leave this alteration. Yeah, I'm very confident that the person wearing this will be very happy. And yes. It's kind of one of those reliefs that it's like anticipating the battle for the gathers, it's over. The gathers are gone, not worrying about them. I still am a little, I have to do the hand stitching on this sleeve, but once that's done, it'll be super, as long as I do it evenly, it'll be fine. I have to add the bust cups, but the belt. I think the belt's really gonna fix everything, so that's what I'm gonna do next time. Hand stitch that and fix the belt. Should put this back in its case so that it stays all nice and pretty. Ace, once again, got here in time to say goodbye. But first, hi, welcome. But first, hi, welcome, Ace. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Austin Lips. I appreciate the positive feedback. Yeah, so feel relieved that the princess seams are taken care of. The waistline doesn't have any more tucks in it. I am going to hand stitch the shoulders, and then I have to add bust cups. So I'll just do that when I hand stitch the shoulders, and then I'm going to do the belt. The problem with the belt is the same problem with the skirt, because I'm using the hem of the skirt, and this hem of the skirt is the most curved part of our fabric, so you're having the most biases, because only the centers of the circles are straight of grain. All the other sides, where did I, oh, it's over here, are on the biases as you go around the circle. So it looks like the side seams are completely on the bias, but the center front is straight of grain. So right here is where the center of my belt will be, but the other, I've said this before and I'd say this again, men's clothing is completely complicatedly simple. Like a tie has to be sewn on the 45 degree, otherwise it will twist. And that's what I'm worried about with the belt that I'm making. Is that I want it to lay nicely and I don't want everything to twist. So that's what I'm a little bit worried about, but we'll get to that next week. Yes, it's the simple complicatedness of everything. It's not like a piece of paper. There's a grid we're working with. But yes, so that's the plan for tomorrow. I will make that belt. I will interface it, line it, blah, blah, blah. It'll look cute. I think the belt's really going to solve a lot of the fit issues. But yeah, that's the game plan. I'm done for tonight. I'll pick this back up tomorrow. And any questions before I go? Thank you all for joining me today. Looks like Odin's here saying hi again. Yep, Austin Lips, hopefully see you tomorrow. Yes, I'll be back tomorrow finishing this up and then on to other projects. So, no questions. I think that's time for it to go. Thank you again. And till next time, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.